We see that in Genesis, it tells of Yahweh creating earth living things according to its kind. These kinds were endowed with the capacity for reproducing their offspring only according to their kinds. Yet, some may ask, what are these kinds of life forms? What does kinds exactly mean? According to the Bible, kinds constitute divisions of life forms wherein each of these divisions of life forms allows cross-fertility within its boundaries. But in modern times, the word species has entered our lexicon, especially when it comes to speaking of genetics. The result of this change has caused some confusion when the word kinds is compared with species. But we should not be confused, for the basic definition of species is sort, kind, and variety. Now, in biological definition, it applies to any group of interfertile animals or plants possessing one or more distinctive characteristics, which then could be many such species or varieties within a single division of the Genesis kinds. For example, light helps us to see in the dark. However, light itself needs a light source in order to give light. Therefore, we have a variety of different kinds or species of light sources. Fire is created when the ignition source such as fuel, heat, and oxygen, and when these chemicals react to each other, this creates a burst of light and heat when these chemicals oxidize. So fire would be a light source. But we also have a different kind of light source, one that's man-made. Light bulbs uses electricity to become a light source, and as we all know, there are many kinds or species of light bulbs. But as we can see, fire and light bulbs are both light sources, and they have to be heated in order to become a light source. But the process and the way it's created are totally different. Therefore, that divides these light sources. These are two different kinds of light givers. Now that these two are divided, we can study the different kinds of each kind. We can look into the light bulb kind or species and see that there are many kinds of light bulbs. If we were to look at a fluorescent light bulb compared to a halogen light bulb, though halogen is different from fluorescent, does it make halogen not a light bulb? Of course not. Hence, these are two different kinds of light bulbs. But we do know one thing: the halogen light bulb is not a kind of fire. So when it comes to biology, we can use the term species and kind interchangeably. There is no confusion. There are many species or kinds of birds, from the land-dwelling kiwi or ostrich to the flying falcon, grackle, or hummingbird, even to the swimming penguins. But since a kiwi looks drastically different from the penguin, does it make a kiwi not a bird? Of course not. The kiwi is another kind or species of bird. But what does the bird have in common with a tiger? Well, it's an animal. But since these two life forms are animals, does it make them the same kind or species of animal? Well, hopefully your answer is no. Is the Bible compatible with evolution theory? The answer is no. The only thing that separates Bible and evolution theory is where evolution theory states that one kind or species begin to adapt or evolve, and over time, with enough adaptations, becomes a whole total other kind of life form, where the Bible implies that kinds or species stays within their boundaries. For example, trilobites have existed on Earth for just over 300 million years. These life forms have changed their physical appearance throughout this timescale due to evolution or adaptation. So much so that there are over 20,000 species or kinds of trilobites that have adapted to their surroundings, and their ever-changing morphology have diverged greatly from their primitive state. Though the trilobites have changed and evolved greatly over the 300 million years they've been alive, they remain the same kind of life form, where evolution theory states otherwise. For example, a saber-toothed tiger is the same kind or species as your everyday house cat. This kind of animals are called felidae. Now, the evolution theory states that such cats evolved from mammal-like reptiles that have adapted and became mammal through adaptation or evolution over time. If the Bible implied Yahweh created one kind of life form becoming many, it would read as such, along the lines of Yahweh created the first sea monsters which became land animals which gave way to man. But rather, it states each life form was created according to its kind, even more explicit to the origin of mankind. Man was the more detailed of the first creations of its kind, hence man was created from the dust of the earth, rather from pre-existing life forms.